Good evening and welcome to the Invictus Racing League, where we start the second half of the season here in Tier 1 for the 23rd season of IRL. And we have a brilliant fight on our hands for the championship as we head into the second half. And we head to a circuit which is notorious for being quite tricky. We head to the United States of America and Texas for the Circuit of the Americas for round number 5, and it's going to be 28 laps around this American track of dueling and possible madness. My name is Jordan, and alongside me for this week is Maris in the commentary box. Good evening, Maris. How are you?
I'm all right. Looking forward to Texas. As you said, it will be a tricky one for the drivers. As I think we could possibly see maybe a safety car, why not? But I think maybe track limits will play a key thing here today, and we might also see some really good overtakes. But I think going into turn one would be tricky for these drivers also as well.
Yeah, absolutely. As you say, track limit is a big factor here at COTA. Just purely from the sense, especially those first set of S's that are like Maggots and Beckett's, very, very easy to get just the wheel just over the line and trigger that warning. I mean, it also means that qualifying is going to be quite interesting, even though it's still a short 18-minute session, because ultimately it's not exactly a small circuit if you invalidate and have to go again.
Yeah, they would. As you said, it's very difficult for these drivers, and it's one mistake, they will have to go again, and there is not much grass along here. So if they do go after, they might invalidate, and if they do have the right amount of fuel, they can start their lap again. But they do need to be wary of the walls, as the walls, even though some of them are far away, some are close. They still got to be wary of the walls because it can come quick and fast.
Yeah, absolutely. With Kozos, he was sort of. It broke ground in 2010 when it became the bid to bring the USA back to America after it ceased racing at Indianapolis back in, I think, 06, 07. There was no racing in America for F1, and obviously in 2010, the creators of this circuit went, yeah, we want to bring it back. This is the circuit. 2012, it then opened and hosted its first race. And since then, it's been on the calendar since, and it's produced some fantastic racing. And we're hoping it will do the same tonight. But I think one of the biggest issues you're going to have around here is following through the corners.
Yeah, it will, and especially on the pitch straight. DRS is going to play a key thing here for overtakes. As I've said, the pitch straight and from turn 11 up to turn 12, it's going to be very difficult for drivers to try and keep the move ahead. And it's going to make key moves with DRS just that much more simple. So if we exiting the corners, it's not advised really to try and make a move there, but more on the straights.
Yeah, you say DRS obviously a big factor, and there's we get the track map up. We do have two zones at the Circuit of the Americas, down the main straight and down the massive back straight. We've got 11 drivers in, a couple of Nitric Ash and Madman and Ginger being tier 2 drivers filling in for the night. Looking to get a bit of data ready for tomorrow. So we see a Ferrari. That ARL beats out of the pit lane. And I don't know how much you know about our stuff with ARL, but we always get him because he's always normally the first person out on circuit. He's normally the first one always out of the pit lane.
It's a good thing to be out on the pit lane, as you will have no one in front of you, but as you do start, you will have traffic. So it is a bad thing to go out first, but it's also a nice thing to try and get at least to have a time on the board. And if others don't set a time, then it'll be good for you. So it is a nice strategy, but it can cost dividends if there are other things like traffic, as I mentioned. But it is a good mindset to be, is to always go out first.
Yeah, and another thing to note with ARL, you may find a different logo next to his name on the leaderboard. That is because ARL has joined the master race that is the PC players. He's now running on a PC, not running on the PlayStation anymore. So I think that's why he's gone out on the mediums, because he wants to test out his wheel settings and make sure they're correct and try and adjust things as he goes, because he's basically having to reset the whole thing. I mean, as we know, the difference of PC and console is actually is bigger than people think.
There it is, and another key thing is Ginger's also a medium, so he will be also trying to gather information on the medium tire. But it is the thing that if you are going out on the medium tire, it removes a selection, or you'll have your medium tire be worn for the race. So it is not a good thing to do, but it is nice to try and get up to speed again. So that would be a key thing here for strategy-wise for these drivers.
Absolutely, I think we got Warwine looking around. Maris, would you like to do a lap of the Circuit of the Americas with Warwine under?
Yeah, I'll take it around. Alright, so he goes across the line, and we'll start going up to the long hill into turn 1. So he brakes very nicely. He goes thing, he does have a bit of wobble and goes into turn 2. This is the essence as you mentioned, so he needs to try and keep it on to the track. Turn 3, 4, and 5. And he does really well in 6. Now he goes into 7, 8, and 9. To see if he manages to not invalidate, it does go nice, and he uses the apex very nicely. It's a lovely shot if it's really nice and sunny, but today it does not. We have a bit of clouds. It goes into turn 11 onto that very long straight with DRS. It does have a helping hand in front with a Ferrari, so that could really help him. He has used a lot of battery, so it might hurt him a little bit, but he stopped using it now. So this is going to, let's see what we can do. It goes into turn 12. It doesn't go a bit wide, so that's really good. Now it goes into turn 13 and 14. You don't want to go too much on the throttle around here. It does unsettle the car, but he luckily does not here. Turn 15 is now he does into turn 16 and 17. Should be an easy, just keep the wheel to the right and just use a bit more battery. Exit turn 18, now it goes into 19, goes into 20, so he does settle 131, so he obviously is faster than ARL by 2 seconds. Use the battery, goes down into line B2 is a 133.1.
Yeah, good stuff from War Islander, but I feel lots more time to be had. Denmark does a 33.8. We've got Ginger Tiger just coming around 18 up towards 19. Obviously, that is Istanbul-esque in reverse corner. And I do think, I'm pretty certain that a lot of this circuit was sort of taken inspiration from other circuits as Ginger Tiger puts himself into 5th. Nitro in 6th. You got Rudder now out on a lap with the yellow geese. Doing a very yellow thing. He's only had 3 laps practice and 1 valid lap within those 3 practice laps. So he's going to be looking to try and keep it within the lines as he comes up to the final corner. He's done just that on this lap so far. Slide wobble. Second place, a 32.850 for the Williams. He'll be looking for even more as they go through the session. Who have we got coming up? Let's have Matty going to start a lap. So I think the next person on a lap is going to be Bjorn de Boer.
Yeah, I think it is. But it's a nice thing. Sydney is always on top of the qualifying charts yet again, and he's done it by a second. So these drivers do got a lot of field to make up, but we still have some other runners to still make to try and still get up at the field with Rudder and Bjorn to still try and get time on the board. So those two will be the key thing. See if they can displace Sydney up the top. But yeah, it is crazy to see that the drivers are near enough a second behind Sydney, but see what the other drivers will do, as I think Bjorn is rounding down around the final corner.
Turn 20 for the Sauber. It's a 32.2. Still 7/10 away off the pole position time of Sydney. As Rudder now puts himself into 3rd. Madman on a lap as well. Coming through the last couple of corners. Not really troubling any limits through these corners as Madman. It's a 36.0. Is he going for another one? Yeah, looks like he backed out of that last lap because he was just using a bit of overtake down the main straight. Did he use it again down the hill? No, he doesn't. So I don't know whether he is on a lap or not. He's not clipping going into the S's. Looked very close as Jeremy Clarkson has joined. That's good news for the championship. Good news for the front of the pack. Because Jeremy Clarkson, as we've seen, Maris, always a contender for a race win.
He is. As I think the last time I saw him, it was the first race in China. He didn't qualify first, but he obviously did win the race, and he won it by some margin. So even though he's not got the qualifying pace, he does certainly have the race pace to displace to get the win.
And they do say points come on Sunday, so I think it's one of those things. I think you'd rather be called Mr. Sunday than Mr. Saturday, as George Russell has found out in recent years.
Oh, definitely. Because in qualifying, that does not get you points, but the race it does. So obviously, you do want to be called Mr. Sunday.
Meanwhile, Madman through the Bahrain-esque turn 15. And this long, flat right-hander. Oh no, Beyond a Burr has an actual problem. I've just seen as Madman just invalidates there. He's going to continue on round. Let's see what time he could have achieved. Yeah, I think he backed right off. Beyond a Burr in the Sauber, crawling along the back straight. His throttle has broken.
Oh god, he really needs to try and get that back into the pit so we can try and at least fix that, so we can at least try and have another go. But he has got just under 10 minutes to try and get that back into the pits.
I mean, I'd almost be tempted if I was him because because of the situation he is in. I would probably at this point maybe try and pause the game. Let the AI control the car up towards the last couple of corners, or retake control when you know you've got a car coming up behind you to get out of the way. But because of the circumstances, I feel like the stewards would. You're normally not allowed to let the AI drive for you. However, in this circumstance, because he does have an actual mechanical failure, and if he stops on circuit, he will get disqualified from the session. I think the stewards would allow him to let the AI take control at this point to get him rolling up towards the pit, and he can then take control and effectively freewheel it into the pit entrance where the computer will then take over in the pit lane and he can then fix it. I mean, I'm quite impressed at the moment that he is still rolling and I haven't seen any throttle input at all. He is literally doing this on the gears. You can see the gears flicking up and down, up and down, up and down.
Yeah, it is surprising, but there's something weird about this game. As if you do go up and down on the throttle, for some reason it does create movement. So it is a bit weird, and it does do that. But it's nice to know as he does now make it back into the pit lane, and I hope that he manages to get that throttle issue sorted.
Meanwhile, back to those on circuit. Sydney on a lap. Let's go on board with the Ferraris to go through the Silverstone-esque. S's are like Maggots and Beckett's. It's long right hander that tightens. Gears to the right, flick it left. And unbelievable. I mean, I've driven this on ACC and a GT3, and I mean, the pace difference is just ridiculous. Down the hill to the hairpin at turn 11 already after just 40 seconds of driving. I think it was taking me something like a minute to get down to this part. In a full Mustang GT3, so that shows you just how quick an F1 car is. Down the back straight, burning the battery. As he goes into turn 12. Heavy braking zone, big overtaking opportunity down there. He's a quarter of a second quicker at the moment. He's down to 15. And you have 16, 17, 18. Bit of a slide coming out of 15. He's absolutely flat to the deck through the three right-handers. To the right, flick it down a couple of gears. Ooh, he got it. Yes, he's just about kept it in bounds. Final corner for Sydney. He was quarter of a second out the second sector, and he's slower come at the end of the circuit. That's a few little tweaks and slides did cost Sydney some significant time, and Ruddo's had a moment. By the looks of that, going through turns 7 and 8. So I wonder if he just had a bit of a tweak through there.
Yeah, I think he has, but I'm surprised he's managed to. He's thinking, do I need to go out again? Because he is 7 tenths quicker than Bjorn and the other drivers behind him. So it is surprising that he's trying to find more time, because he was only a quarter of a second up, or just under it. So I'm surprised he managed to go again, to just have a little nibble at the time. I don't think other drivers. I know we only have 6 minutes left, but I don't think a lot of drivers are going to find 7 tenths of time to try and catch him.
I think potentially what's going on, because Bjorn's having throttle issues at the moment, I wonder if potentially that affected Bjorn's lap near the end. And I think Sydney knows that with the likes of, I mean, we've also got Jeremy Clarkson now in the session. We know how quick he is, and I think that's why Sydney continues to go out to try and better this time, because he knows Jeremy can very easily. There's potential that Jeremy Clarkson could come in and get that lap time, and we also know there's a chance Bjorn can go that fast. We know Bjorn's just as quick as Sydney, so I think for Sydney it's just one of those things. Just keep the pressure on everyone behind you, but let's hope that Bjorn can get his throttle issue sorted, because it's not often that you get a proper mechanical failure in sim racing. It does happen, it's just not a common thing. But at least it's a valid excuse if you do retire.
Yeah, as he has been in the pits for 4 minutes. So he's ARL had a bit of a wobble there. I think it was turn 15 around about there. It was much of a wobble. But yeah, it's also shocking that Jeremy Clarkson hasn't come out the pitch yet. So we're just under 5 minutes, as I was about to just say that. So he does come out.
Out comes the Haas. He's probably spending a bit of time getting the setup on the car, maybe making a couple of last minute tweaks. Because obviously he did join in late, and by the time you load in, you do lose quite a bit of time by the time you actually load in and take control of your car.
Yeah, it has been a session.
Bjorn, we have news from the pit lane that Bjorn, the Sauber team, believe the throttle issue is fixed. So hopefully we'll see that green and black Sauber come out from the garage and have at least one more flying attempt.
Yeah, I hope so too. As if he did have throttle issues on his lap, it means that could be able to find even more time and challenge Sydney. So Sydney might be under pressure here. So as I was saying before, he might have to come back out and try and find even more time. So that's going to really cost for Sydney if Bjorn does find even more time.
I think this is quite a big thing here for Sydney, is we're seeing how Jeremy does, because effectively Jeremy, he's out of sync with everyone at this point because he's gone out effectively early. Because at this point, you're not going to get back in the pits to go again. So I would have thought Jeremy Clarkson might be fueled up to do 2 flying laps here. Not necessarily one after the other, but definitely enough fuel that he can maybe go for one. Although saying that, looking at the time, he might not even have enough time for a cooldown. He might just have to go for the 1 lap, and if he doesn't feel like it's right, back off and go again.
Yeah, he might have to. So he's got to try to keep it within the white lines around in this thingy. So if he doesn't, he will have to try and recharge that battery. So that is going to be a key thing here. Does he back off towards the end to try and refix his battery, or will he actually make this his one and only lap?
The question is, I mean, it's about another 47 seconds, which I would say would mean he's less than a minute and a half when he finishes this lap, which means he hasn't got enough time for a cooldown.
Yeah.
So this with the way the battery is being used, this is the one and only chance for Jeremy, because he's not exactly getting the battery back up for a flying on the next lap. So flying round these 3 corners into the final couple. God, massive trust from the Haas into there, just launching the car through. He knows he's got to get everything in this lap Little tweak, and it's only a 32.595.
I don't think he has time to go again, so that's really going to cost him. But because his battery, he's not 100%, and he's not even using it
He's
down the
not
hill.
using it. It's not even draining. The lights on the back are flashing, which means he is harvesting. So Jeremy Clarkson, he's only going to start a highest P5 here at Kota as War Islander comes to the line. Currently on a 33.1, does a 32.596, which puts him a thousandth of a second behind the Haas of Jeremy Clarkson.
It's quick from the War Islander, so he's really cemented himself into tier 1 very quickly. But so it's going to be a key issue for Jeremy Clarkson that he started P5. But for his one and only lap, he's not bad. But he will have to, as I said, in China, he does have the race pace. So does he have it around here in Texas?
Ginger Tiger just getting out of the way of a few cars behind him. I don't know if his qualifying day is done. I'd say it is. Who do we have though on a lap? Sydney on a lap. Bjorn. Good stuff from the Sauber team to get that car back out in this session. This is what we want to see. We want to see the likes of Bjorn and Rado taking it to Sydney, especially in qualifying. Put them under pressure by saying, yes, we do have the same pace as you. Do not make a mistake. The session is over. Madman's going to be the first to cross the line. He's currently on 34.7. What can he do? It's a 34.048, just behind Nitric Ash, who's invalidated his latest lap. We have Winder, who is not on a lap, followed by our current pole sitter and championship leader, Sydney 5802, just coming through turn 15. Launching it. It's amazing how much trust they have through that penultimate corner. They just turn the wheel and go, yep, that's going to stick.
It is crazy as Sydney goes faster. Wow.
Just under a tenth. It's not a lot, but it is a little bit faster. We've got Denmark coming to the line next. He puts himself in 8th place. This is good news for him. Bjorn de Boer, here's the man we want to see. He's got to find about 8 tenths. That's the magic number. Does he find it? No, he does not. He only finds a couple of tenths. This time around, Ruddo's a tenth quicker after sector 2. What can the Ferrari man put across the line? He's only a tenth quicker there, so he starts P3. Jelle Giesen. A bit of a snap out of the final corner across the line. Goes P4 for the Williams. So a second row start. ARL, very quietly, has put himself into the top 5. That's a great effort from the RB. Matty, unfortunately, the only one of the Tier 1 drivers to, unfortunately, start behind Tier 2. He starts behind Ginger Tiger in 10th place. But it is Maris Sydney once again on pole position.
There he is, and again, by some margin, 6 tenths. He is running away with qualifying, but as I said countless times, qualifying does not matter. It does only matter with your starting position. But for points, he needs to try and convert that into a win for even more points to help his championship out.
And so your grid for the American Grand Prix. Sydney and Bjorn line up in the front row again. We have Ruddo and Jelle Giesen on row 2. ARL, Jeremy Clarkson complete row 3. Weiler and Denmark row 4. Row 5 consists of Ginger Tiger and Matty. And the back row number 6, is Nitric Ash and DJ Madman, who, looking at the qualifying pace, it looks like they're going to be in for a race-long battle for the wooden spoon.
It will, and turn 1's going to be interesting. It is wide. It goes wide, but it goes into a short corner, so that's going to be really interesting to see if there is going to be any carbon fibre going into turn 1, especially for these drivers. But it does look a little bit gloomy going into turn 1.
Matthew Rudd saying Roddo for the win. See Matthew Rudd, Roddo's brother. And Jelle Giesen surprisingly fast. Yes, I think we all know your pace, Jelle. We all know you're a quick guy. You don't necessarily need practice. You can just drive. But in terms of championship, he did say Sydney now leading the championship. He gained that place back from Ruddo back in Belgium last week, the sprint evening. Ruddo is second. He is 10 points behind Sydney. He had a bit of a rough Belgium, did Ruddo. Didn't quite go to plan for him. Bjorn de Boer is 14 off the lead. Jeremy Clarkson, 28 off the lead. ARL is 5th with 29 off the lead. In terms of constructors, Ferrari, I mean, it's no real mean feat that they are pulling away in this championship. 58 points now to the good of Sauber. They're the only team that have had every car turn up to every single race.
Yeah, and I think their points tally will even increase even more further as one of the drivers is on pole yet again. So
and again, I think other than the Williams, I think the Williams are the only other team tonight with 2 cars in, because the 2 McLarens are not Tier 1 scoring drivers. Oh no, sorry, the Alpines are in. Both Alpines are in as well. So they might actually advance up the table because they're sat 6th at the moment, Alpine. They could actually move up in the constructors. But the fight really is for second in constructors, because you have Sauber on 60, the Racing Bulls on 55. They actually lost out to Sauber last time in Belgium. The Red Bull team have 46, but no cars in this event. Haas have 35, all scored by Jeremy Clarkson. Alpine have 27. There is quite a big fight going on for second down.
Yeah, it is, and as we are now entering the second half of the season, every point now matters for the constructors and the drivers' championship. So each driver, they could start getting a little bit more nervous. We could see maybe more errors. So as even more points, every little point now matters for each of these drivers.
Absolutely, Matty Rod saying handsome brother, apparently. I'm not sure Si would agree with that one, Matty. And Denmark in the chat. So it's good to see everyone here watching tonight. It's fantastic to see. If you do enjoy the stream, don't forget to like it. And if you're not already, subscribe to the Invictus Racing League channel and put your notifications on, because every race is streamed and commentated on live every single week, which is it's a really nice thing, Maris, to have every single race streamed and commentated on, because it gives all the drivers something to look back on, and those who want to support them, they can do. It's a great feature to have.
Yeah, it is, but it also nice to give like live feedback on the time for these drivers, because if a driver makes an error, and we can see what maybe the issue is, they can go out and maybe fix the issue, so they can take the criticism and then improve it for the next race. It's nice for the drivers to just use it as a tool to just improve on their lap time. It's nice that it is. You can just watch many races further back to just get into the right mindset.
Yeah, absolutely. And at the same time, they get to laugh at us for talking utter nonsense about them, which is a bonus. Matty saying he got driving, and Matty got the looks. Yeah, I think you're. Yeah, we'll see we'll see what Si has to say about that. I think he might think he might have got both potentially, but you never know. You never know. We do go on to the formation lap though here at COTA. Let's have a look at the important situation of the tyres. And we have 3 people on the hard compound tyre. We have Jeremy Clarkson, Winder, and Madman, all starting on the hards. The rest of the drivers on the mediums. And if I remember from past generations of game, this circuit is very hard on the tyres. It's the last time I remember playing or driving around COTA back on, I think, something like F124. The tyre wear was very, very high.
Yeah, it is. It really does. It's because you constantly think, especially with the S's, you're moving left and right constantly, so it's going to eat the tires. I think mainly it's the front right tire that is going to really hurt a lot more for these drivers, and it's going to cost them a lot. So we could see them in the pit early. We could see a possibility of just a one stop. But for these drivers, we might even see possibly maybe even a 2-stop if they just go full speed to the metal. So that's really going to shake up strategy. as we might not even know if they're going to decide to use the one stop or the two stop.
So here's Rodo already looking to make overtakes as he overtook Bjorn on the formation lap. He now drops back into his proper slot in third. But the Ferrari man looking to make an overtake before we've even begun. But yeah, as you say, the front right, or at least the right-hand side of the tyres are going to be the limiting factor here. Being an anti-clockwise circuit, which is an uncommon sort of trait in circuits, being an anti-clockwise circuit. So it's only going to be an interesting thing. And also, thank you very much, Cat. It's the Cat for your comment regarding us commentators. It is massively appreciated. I mean, to be fair, we enjoy talking nonsense over drivers. It's good fun sometimes. Well, all the time really, but we get to chat around and have some fun whilst all the drivers get nervous and scared of what we're going to say. As Sydney gets his parking all wrong.
Yeah, I saw that. He did go a little bit too far in the finish, so I don't think he broke in time. But the key thing here is Bjorn is on the left hand side, so he will have the inside light into turn one. So that will be a key thing, as Matty also doesn't get into his right.
As you say, Bjorn on the right of our screen, Ruddo on the left. Ruddo and Sydney on the left. 5 red lights. We are racing at Kosa, and who's got the best launch? It's a pretty even getaway off the start. Has Bjorn managed to keep the inside? He's got Ruddo looking down the inside of him as well. Ruddo looking to make it 3 wide into turn 1. It's a tight squeeze, a bit of contact between everyone, but it's all safe. Everyone's got through cleanly. Sydney comes out of it in the lead from Bjorn de Boer. Ruddo, yellow, ARL. I don't think we've actually had any change of position. I see that actually Matty's gone up a couple of places. He's now into 8th place, but otherwise I think everyone else pretty much sit rep from qualifying. Ruddo looking to make it 3 wide, trying to get into the lead straight away of this race as we go through the S's, now down the hill towards the hairpin for the first time. But Sydney, I think, very much helped out a little bit by Ruddo, the fact that Bjorn could not get to the full inside of the circuit. But I mean, as you did say, Mars, Bjorn did have the inside line going to the hairpin, but if the game does replicate it, he was on the dirty side of the circuit, which is why pole position is on that right hand side as Bjorn looks to go down the inside. Has he got enough of an overlap? Oh, maybe not quite enough from the Sauber. Can't quite find that gap. Warwinder has dropped down, but he is on the hard compound tyre. So expect him to maybe pick up later in this first stint as we head through 15 up towards 16, 17, 18. And it looks like now we're all going to be a little bit more sit rep. And well, as Maris is probably finding out with when I get to commentate, she finally gets to have a say as we complete lap number 1.
Yeah, lap 1 usually is the chaos, so I don't mind you taking over for a lap because it does get very chaotic. But yeah, I'm surprised Bjorn didn't make the move into turn, but the clouds are still very dark. But they could get enlightened up. It does look a little less grey as if the clouds do move. So that will also be a key thing for these drivers to see if it could rain, it will shake up the strategy. But the key thing is, will the drivers keep it within the white lines? Because everything will be costly if they do pick up a penalty or even more.
I'm looking at my little app which tells me what the weather's doing, and it looks like the sun will actually start to shine in about 15 minutes time. So it looks like we're not gonna get changeable weather like we did in Belgium. That was an absolute mental night of racing. That was. If you haven't seen the last round, I do urge you to look at it after tonight. But here comes Bjorn de Boer with DRS, probably with a little bit of battery, but Sydney still alongside, a bit of contact wheel to wheel as they look to go side by side now down towards 15. Sydney switches. What a lovely move from the Ferrari. I thought Bjorn would have stayed tighter, but Bjorn, being on the outside, gets a slightly better exit, more traction down. And the Sauber completes the move into the lead, finally, by turn 17-18.
A good move between the two. Nice, clean racing, so that really were good for them, really good for us. I'm going to go back to the time penalties. A lot of drivers have already got just a warning. Wall Island, Ginger Tiger, Denmark, Badman, Sydney, and ARL, even some of them. I think Geeson is on his final one already into lap 3, so that's going to be a really key thing here. So a lot of drivers are struggling with track limits, but the two up ahead, they seem like they're doing okay for now.
Yeah, it's quite critical. As there you go, Yellow Geeson picks up a 3-second time penalty. We've not even completed 3 laps. That's just from 2. If he keeps going like that, he's going to pick up 14 time penalties, which, my maths serves me correctly, adds up to 42 seconds.
Ooh, I'm surprised if not by there, you might not get disqualified for having a high amount of time penalties. But yeah, it really is going to hurt for him if he does pick up a lot more. But I'm pretty sure with the 5 minutes he did, yeah, it's not come to a surprise with picking up time penalties. But he will struggle with it. Oh, Bjorn has a bit of a snap there going into, I think, 10, 14 onwards. That was a bit thingy, but it would just allow Sydney to try and crawl a little bit back, as Ruddo is also trying to look at these two as well.
Yeah, obviously Ruddo will probably be speaking with Sydney. They'll probably be in a party chat, discussing the plan of attack against the Sauber, as Sydney has a bit of a slide coming out of the final corner. And it wouldn't surprise me if it looks like Ruddo is looking stronger at this point of the race, if they may swap in order to try and go after Bjorn. Make sure Bjorn, here comes Yelly, taps the back of Ruddo. Ruddo won't enjoy that one because I just lost him a heap of time against the top 2. But Yella, just a little later on the brakes, just nosedived into the back of that Ferrari.
It's not really good thing he is. He does have a little practice, so we will have to try and keep it nice and clean. He does not want to try and get any more penalties. As the top 5 are close together, but Jeremy Clarkson isn't too far behind. So he's got some time to try and make up. But again, he is on the hard tyre, and he is the higher runner of the hard compound tyre as well.
Yes, the biggest thing with Jeremy is, okay, he's not up there with the leading group, but as time goes on, I mean, you're going to want to try and stretch these mediums to maybe, if you're going to do a one-stop here, they probably want to do it a minimum of 12 laps as War Islander gets past SFR Matty. A little bit of a lock-up, though, into 12, and Matty trying to fight back through 13 and 14. The Alpine stays up, but yeah, I'm expecting those mediums, you want to take them at least 12, 13 laps here.
Yeah, they will. So a lot of drivers will definitely be struggling for grip going in after maybe lap 10. So these drivers are really going to be struggling with later laps. But those have had a couple of tyres, they will come alive sooner or later, so they will try and make up speed quicker. But yeah, it's just to wonder which driver will come out on top for the strategy wise. Will it be the mediums or will it be the hard runners?
It was quite an amazing shot we just had then, whilst we're watching War Islander and Matty at the moment, because they are the closest pair on circuit. We got to see the top 11 all in one shot. You can see the leaders going up the hill as Yellow Geeson just, well, two laps later picks up another time penalty. He's now up to 6. So that's gone wrong for the Williams. But yeah, you can see the top 11 all in one shot as the leaders went up the hill into turn 1. You had Nitro Gas just coming out of the final corner in that one shot, which is great to see.
It is a nice shot to see, and it would be nice to see to get even closer. As Matty does have, I think, DRS going into War Islander, but was War Islander done, so we could see maybe a change in move. No, he doesn't. Is he? I don't think he's a lot more battery, so he go for a dive up. No, he's too far back.
Looking back at the top though, because Sydney now less than half a second behind Bjorn. He was around 3/10 going down the back straight. There's a bit of a snap though, and that's going to cost him a touch of time. Say, following around this circuit with this regulation of car, I mean, it's definitely better than it was back in, say, 2020, 2021. But it's still not easy around this circuit with the dirty air coming from the car ahead. Your car just doesn't quite want to grip up as much.
No, it doesn't. So the drivers that really close together, they're really going to really hinder. So really, just to clear, as most people would know, Bjorn's going to really be loving it with the nice clean air. So he will be trying to think on how he can extend those mediums for a long time. But for drivers like Sydney and Rodo, they will try and not pull the trigger as soon as, or unless they really want to try and go for a trying to go ahead of Yarn with an undercut.
Yeah, I think the undercut run here is a very powerful tool, but you have to do it at the right time so your tyres aren't done for at the end as well. It's a very fine margin here of when you can get it done, but with the way the circuit is, the undercut, I think, is definitely the way to go, and I think it's where Jeremy Clarkson's going to have his work cut out for him because he's on the hard tyre. Those ahead of him, they'll come into the pits, and even though it's technically not an undercut as such because they pitted from in front of him, he will lose a bit of time, and they will have a slightly bigger gap, I fear, when Jeremy Clarkson comes in, because they'll have, say, 3 to 4 laps of new compound use when they come on to put the new hard tyres on.
Yeah, they will. They will be faster for a couple of laps, I think. But with Jeremy Clarkson, he will be on the medium tyre, so he really is going to try and
Yell it in the
extend the
pits.
part.
This has got to be a 2-stop strategy for the Williams now. The problem is, I hope he hasn't come in the pits thinking he's going to get rid of that 6-second penalty, because you don't serve the corner cut penalties in the pits. It's a set of hard tyres, though. I don't think cards will go 21 laps.
No, I don't think they will, because it's a bit much to ask. So I think he'll definitely get a punch with 21 laps to go. So, what other tyre would he go on to? Would he go into another set of mediums, or would he?
I think he'll come in for a second set of mediums at the end of this race. What Yella is basically doing here, and it's a strategy I quite like, and if you get it done right and you get enough clean air now before everyone else pits, I think what Yella is basically doing is, I don't want to be here saving tyres. I want to get in the car and drive fast. And with this 6-second penalty now looming over his head, he has to get gaps to cars. And at this point, I think he's basically going on the basis of, if I pit now, push hard, as Jeremy Clarkson goes down the inside of ARL, that's for fourth. Pretty bog standard DRS overtakers. I think Ginger Tiger doing the same to Matty. I think Yellow Geeson's basically on the basis of, I would rather pit more and push harder. Oh, a bit of a twitch from Ginger.
Yeah, it's not about strategy. Ginger and Matty are really going for it. I'm not sure if they had a bit of touching it about 12 before. But yeah, they're really providing a bit of a fight, Matty and Nitrogas. So that's really going to think it. But yeah, Ginger.
ARL now in the pits. I think this is becoming a 2-stop race.
I think it is. It's also Matty enters into the pit as well. So I think it really is. The medium tyre for some of these drivers are really going to struggle for them. But I think it's Hella Geeson. I think he's done something. He's the key for other drivers that have gone into the pits now to put on the hard tyre. So they're thinking, Hella Geeson's put on the hard tyre, so will I. So they're going to copy the same strategy as him.
Yeah, and you can see Yellow Geeson has come out around about 4 seconds ahead of ARL, which I think is bigger than it was before he came in. So yeah, the Yellow Geeson definitely the trigger. The question is, will the top runners join him on this 2-stop strategy, or will they continue on and try and do this 1-stop? Because I think in terms of with the pit lane stuff like that, it's technically quicker to go on a 1-stop because you save that pit stop time, but it just depends how much time you can make up on the newer rubber earlier. That's the critical factor here, and we'll see what the top runners do this time around.
I think if they are the top runners, I would try to look at that gap between them and Jeremy Clarkson.
Oh, sorry, Mars. I just saw Bjorn. That is cheeky as you like from the Sauber. He came out of that penultimate corner, darted left as if he was going to go to the pits, and then darted back to the racing line, trying to trick the Ferraris into coming in with him. That's a very cheeky move from Bjorn de Boer, but I do like it. I do like it when drivers start thinking like this in the strategic sense.
Yeah, but I think that gap between them and Jeremy Clarkson is going to be key because if Jeremy Clarkson starts gaining and gaining on that hard tyre, then they know it's the right time to get into the pits. So there's now 5.2 now seconds between them and Jeremy Clarkson. So that is realistically, it's now dropped to even 4.9. So maybe now it might be the right time to, yeah, as the hard tyre might seem to be the best tyre at this current moment. As you said, they might be trying to look for it to get to lap 12 if they want to really get those hard tyres to run towards the end.
And Sydney's getting close to Bjorn. Now he's getting closer and closer to that DRS, but he just wasn't quite close enough to launch a lunge into turn 12 as ARL gets past Madman out of the hairpin. To be expected because ARL has gone back out on a set of mediums. He is definitely on a 2-stop.
Yeah, it must be, but those medium tyres, they probably might not last until maybe 6 laps as the other drivers might think. But
Oh, Sydney loses the back end a little bit going into turn 19. Just nearly dropped it. And I think third place Ruddo is in the pits now.
yeah, I think he'll be obviously talking with Sydney to a chat, so he'll more than likely will be the test to see if the hard tyre will be doing well for him and for the Ferrari car, so this will allow Sydney to still keep battling with Bjorn, but
Here's
also trying to figure out.
Here's the other question. Oh my god, Yellow Geese and into the wall! And that's brought out the safety car. That is horrible luck for Ruddo.
It is, but it will go and maybe get fifth and possibly maybe even a couple of more positions against Denmark, Warlander, and Jimmy Clarkson will still have to pit. So that's really surprising. But again, it's not fully because, as we mentioned, Ella Geeson, he's only really had not much practice.
Yeah, that was weird from Yellow Geese, and he came out of the last corner, flipped open the DRS, and the car just suddenly snapped left.
Maybe got onto maybe too much throttle.
Yellow Geese is saying he really wanted to see where he would come out. Oh, okay, that's interesting. Sydney has just gone into the back of Bjorn de Boer under safety car. And Sydney now has a broken front wing.
I'm surprised he didn't pick up a penalty for that for a collision.
I wonder what's happened now. Sydney's not going to be happy. Because now, not only is he going to have to come in, is he going to come in for tyres, he's got to change that front wing now. Because that's a whole main plane gone. That's not even just an end plate. The whole thing's gone, and Bjorn, yes, he is coming in.
Yeah,
What does Jeremy Clarkson do? He does come in, so I think Clarkson now changing strategy to a 2-stop at this point. Warner comes in. It's the right thing to do. The two Alpines will probably stack because here comes Denmark. Ginger Tiger will come in. Rudder will stay out. I mean, what horrible luck for the Ferrari driver. Made his pit stop, and then the safety car is brought out, which means he's now lost a place to Jeremy Clarkson because he made his pit stop under green flag conditions, and Jeremy Clarkson made his pit stop under the safety car. And luckily, Sydney's actually come back out ahead of Jeremy. I'm hoping that they have changed that for me. It looks like they have.
Yeah, that'd be a good thing for Sydney, but for Ruddo, he does have a high cover tower, and they are currently warped up. So he will have maybe more grip than the medium from Jeremy Clarkson, but Jeremy Clarkson might be a bit faster going onto the line after the safety car restart. But yeah, let's see if Bjorn could get far ahead of Sydney on the safety restart, as all the drivers now start bunching up together under the safety car.
You talk about heat for Rudder. He's going to lose all that heat behind the safety car, though, because they're all going to bunch up together and drive the safety car's pace. You ain't going to be able to keep the heat in the tyre. And the problem is, if you weave around to keep the heat, you actually make your life harder because you actually wear the tyre out if you're not careful. So, very unfortunate for Rudder. But Jeremy Clarkson and Warrinder, they definitely have to come back. I think everyone now is definitely going to be on. Got to come in for another pit stop. I mean, the guys who've just gone to the hards, 16. They'll have to do 15, 16 laps on that hard tyre, which I think is doable. But I think it could be quite tough against those who do pit again. I mean, with the likes of Jeremy Clarkson and Warren, they're going to go medium at this point.
Yeah, they will, but they really are going to struggle to try and get those hard compact tyres towards the end, because if they manage to get the tyres and not pit, it's really going to struggle. Oh, they really have a bit of a wobble line into the back straight. Like he had a collision.
And no, not that anyone should do this at home. Sydney and Beyond the Burr are having a conversation on Discord whilst driving their F1 cars. Another safety car. Not that it's advisable to anyone else. But it looks like Sydney got a bit distracted and ended up running to the back of Bjorn. So luckily no consequence to Beyond the Burr, no damage. Probably no investigation going to be taken into account there, as it hasn't if anything, it negatively affected Sydney, but it didn't really affect anyone in the end.
We were both to try a message on Discord at the same time as driving, as that does take some skill, but it did cost him in the end.
Yella, he's so mad at that. That was a weird one for Yella. He came out of turn 20, got the car straight, and as soon as he opened up the DRS, the car just lit up. And it's something that I have noticed with this game when you're not running traction control. The car does wheel spin in third and fourth for no real reason. I mean, oh my word, I think Warner nearly just crashed into the barrier under safety car. But yeah, the game, it does wheel spin in gears it just shouldn't. Like you look back on sort of footage from last year, and drivers in real life, they were absolutely flat in third, no problem at all. A safety car coming in this lap. On this game, you have to be so careful with it. And as soon as you add the DRS and probably some overtake mode and battery, for no apparent reason, even if you're driving in a straight line, the car just goes, no, you're gonna spin into a barrier.
Yeah, this game does cause a very confusion, as you did say the safety car is in this lap. So Bjorn will dictate the pace out in front. So let's see when he does decide to go. Does he go early or does he leave it very, very late?
He's kind of half waiting on the safety car to get in, because if you go too early, there's again a little tap from Sydney as Bjorn trying to get the gap to the safety car. Coming round, and now Bjorn goes just on the entry of turn 20, and I must admit, that looked initially like a bad restart, but it's worked out okay for him, as he now has a bit of a weave down towards turn 1. Jeremy Clarkson, though, with those mediums down the inside of Sydney, trying to get that place. Sydney looks a little bit wide, and Jeremy Clarkson will go through. Jeremy Clarkson now on the back of the Sauber. Ruddo having a little bit of a battle with Warlander behind Islander on the mediums compared to Ruddo's hard tyres. And you can see the grip difference between the two compounds as the Haas is all over the back of this Sauber coming out of turn 9. And you can see the twitch of Bjorn de Boer is going to give Jeremy Clarkson confidence coming into this hairpin. Coming out, he should get a lot more traction. Well, he's got a little bit of the inside, but I think he just took too much curve there, Maris, and it meant that he couldn't actually get the power down.
Yeah, these drivers are struggling. As Ruddo even went up sideways when he battling Walleye. And Walleye did it just not. It is 2 tenths behind, but I don't think he will make the move into the turn, which they don't. But Jeremy Clarkson is eating at that time, so he might make the move, but he won't get DRS just yet. But he could use it with the time he's got. He could get it done next lap.
Yeah, actually the first DRS section we'll come to, that will be active, will be that back straight next time around. This one on the main straight, it's the detection is before, and the detection and activation is before. Warringer now picks up 3 seconds. It's taken him a while, it's taken him 13 laps, but he's now picked up 1. As Sydney gets sideways out of turn 20, and just a nice line of 11 cars heading down towards turn 1. Another name to look out for, Maris, is Madman at the back of this pack. We've not spoken a lot about him because he started on the hards and dropped off, but now with that safety car now on the mediums, you could start to see his name going up the leaderboard just a little bit.
Yeah, I think the starting couple of laps, he could have. Jeremy Clarkson now picks up a title, so that's really going to hurt him as well. But you're really going to cost. We could not cost. We could see maybe Madman. He's now finding his groove with this circuit. A couple of laps, he needed to try and get into the set mindset. But now, after the safety car and 14 laps, sorry, 14 laps of racing, he's finally managed to find the momentum, and he might be able to now propel himself further up the field.
And here comes the Haas. Jeremy Clarkson to the inside, DRS active. I think Bjorn not going to fight that one because he knows the tables will turn later when the tyres change roles effectively in terms of pace. Nitrogas ARL having a bit of a battle though, coming out of 12. They were trying to get around the outside, and this is the oh my word, oh, Madman spins in the background. So he goes round. So that's unfortunate for the Aston Martin. Just as we were saying, he's finding a groove and could potentially start making up positions with the tyre difference. Unfortunately, spins coming through 14, but ARL trying to fight past Nitrogas, and this will annoy ARL because Nitrogas, he isn't in this race, not really, because he's feeling he's not scoring points because he is tier 2. So ARL will want to dispatch him quickly so he can actually get up and start looking at battling people in the tier 1 championship.
Yeah, it is not great. It might not be great for his confidence, but he really does need to make those moves for his I think he is now within just under 2 tenths, but he does have to wait behind in the S's, so he might make the move because he is a bit closer. But he just got to keep in mind he is in that DRS train because he's in from the Ginger Tiger DRS train, because he's really not going to help. He's pretty much at the back, and Madman I think has a spin as well.
Yeah, those tyres will be a little bit on the dirty and warm side, I think, after that spin at 14. This DRS train being headed up by Denmark at the moment. With Ginger behind, there's Beyond a Burr. We've just missed it. Picks off. Jeremy Clarkson with some DRS. Doesn't quite get the turn 12 right, and Jeremy going to be all over the back of him. This could be crucial for later on in this race as Denmark and Ginger go side by side going through 13 and 14. Denmark just about, as we can have a nice camera angle on the outside, please, Mr. Director. That'd be wonderful. ARL has now got past Nitro in the background as well. But this is pretty critical actually in this phase of the race, that Beyond the Burr, if they can keep Jeremy Clarkson with them right now, that's a real big bonus for the likes of Bjorn and Sydney for later on in this race when we suspect everyone to make a second pit stop.
Could be possibly, I think with Jeremy Clarkson, those mediums could be falling off at this stage. We've seen that these drivers they don't like the medium tire that much. They can only go maybe 6, maybe 8 laps on the medium tire. So he might have just fallen grip now as he's now just below 7 tenths. Now he's at just 7 tenths behind Bjorn. So that's really going to hurt him. But what also is going to hurt maybe Sydney and Rudder, the 2 Ferrari drivers, if they're just stuck behind Jeremy Clarkson, it's going to allow Bjorn to just go off in front of the field.
ARL, we said he got past Nitro. He's now on the back of Matty. This one is for position in the championship. This is for effectively 7th as Madman has retired. Has he gone into the wall? I wonder. Is that going to be another safety car in this race? I don't think it is. It looks like that's going to get cleaned up before the safety car is required. But the Madman is out of this race.
ARL does go past Massey. He did have a lot more battery, but the Denmark and Ginger Tiger are really going after the Alpine and the McLaren. They're really scrapping for the 6 and 7. They're really doing really well to keep it nice and clean. Surprising no collisions between the two. Got into turn 14 and 13, but just before a couple of corners ago. But they're really doing well as Denmark has a little bit of a wobble into the final corner. But they're really showing a great pace for them to.
And ARL now right on the back of Denmark. So Denmark not only looking forward, he's got to look backwards. And what's interesting, Maris, Jeremy Clarkson now over a second behind Bjorn de Boer. So Bjorn has broken at DRS on the Haas. The question is, what is the other set of tyres that Jeremy Clarkson has? Does he have another set of mediums? Or is it a second set of hards? Because you can change your tyre allocation before the race starts. So that's the question on everyone's mind. What tyres does everyone have left for this race? Is that Sydney? Sydney going past and through into second place. Ruddo has a little glance down the inside, can't quite find the gap. And he'll have to stay behind the Haas for now, but that Haas looks like it's struggling big time on this set of tyres. And if he can only get 6 or 7 laps out of this, he's going to have to make this first set of tyres go a little bit longer than he really wants to make the second set last if he's only got another set of mediums.
Yeah, really well. But if he has got another set of hards, then that could really help him. As the other drivers, they could say, I don't think they will go into another set of mediums possibly. But yeah, the other drivers they will now be thinking, what tyres do I have left? And can I last and make the second stint last a little bit longer? So that means that their final stint that they can just go. They could just maybe not care much about tyre wear and just go pedal to the floor and just try and get many more finishes, many more places in the final order.
Ginger Tiger, Denmark still going at it side by side as Nitro goes wide in the background. Denmark now getting back into 6th. ARL right there, ready to pounce, but those two fighting was a bit wide from Ginger, nearly opening the door up for the RB. But ARL again couldn't quite slide and take advantage of that. Just an interesting note, the last lap for Bjorn de Boer, after he got past Jeremy Clarkson at 35.9, Jeremy Clarkson was at 37.3, that's 1.4 seconds on that last lap. And I know he was sort of overtaken by Sydney, but in reality is here comes ARL, looks to the outside of Ginger Tiger. I do wonder if Ginger maybe just decided not to fight that one, because I mean ultimately whilst he's been fighting Denmark, at this point now this is tier 1 position going on in front of him. He may well just not bow out of the fight, but allow ARL to try and make progress if he needs to.
Yeah, he did go to one side to go to the left on the DRS straight. So I think he did, but it will allow ARL to kind of chase Denmark, but it does.
Jeremy Clarkson has a big moment coming out of the final corner, lit it up. Unfortunately for Ruddo, not quite close enough to capitalise.
Yeah, I think Ruddo is struggling with the first sector. He's just got behind 1 second, so that really is going to hurt him. But he is catching up in the second and possibly the third sector as well. So that maybe is where the Ferraris are making up time. Sydney is now 1.7 seconds behind Bjorn. As Bjorn managed to find the right tyre at the right time, and has that front wing damage that Sydney might have picked up, has it really costed him a lot of time?
No, because Sydney changed it in the pits. Because Sydney had the main plane gone as well. It wasn't just the end plate. It was the whole main plane of that front wing where the white HP logo on the left hand side was gone. So they did change that in the pit stop. To say he's quite lucky to not get overtaken by Jeremy Clarkson. His air out makes a pretty stock standard move with DRS down into turn 12 on Denmark. He's got 7 seconds pretty much to get up to the back of War Islander, and I think this will be quite an interesting scope of how good are the hards right now against the medium tyre, because 7 seconds is a fair chunk of time for AR, and to be fair, he only has to get 4 of that because War Islander has a 3-second penalty right now.
Well, as you just mentioned penalties, it's come to mind. Jeremy Clarkson has also had one, so Rudder will try and make it nice and clean, and try not to cause too much damage, and cause any instances between him and Clarkson. So he will automatically already inherit 3rd place, so he'll already get the podium if things remain like this. But it really is going to stay in play. One penalties cost a lot for both Jeremy Clarkson, maybe the War Islander.
Yeah, obviously the drivers would prefer to do it on circuit because you can appeal your time penalties if you feel that your corner cut warning was given unjustly by the game. You can have warnings removed, which can subsequently remove time penalties because of the way the stewards work. If you have, say, 3 strikes against your name, which is a 3-second penalty, if one of them gets removed, you get your 3 seconds removed. But if you have 4 warnings during the race and one gets removed, your 3 seconds does stand because you still have 3 strikes left on the record. As Ruddo finally makes the move on the Haas. Now the game to be played for these top 3. Who goes to the end, who does not, as Ginger passes Denmark once again. But yeah, who goes to the end, who can look after the tyres, or do we see a raft of late pit stops as Sydney now picks up 3 seconds? That's big news for the lead of this race.
Yeah, it is, but it's also going to be key for Rodder as well because he's going to at this currently time thingy, he's going to get second at this point. So that could be thinking, but he's only 2 years just all under 3 seconds behind. So he's really got to try and get some time now to try and catch Sydney. But he is on one lap older tires compared to Sydney. So that is really going to hurt him. But it's really, really struggling. It's now the top 5. 3 out of the top 5 have got penalties. So that is really going to be really costly for both of them.
Yeah, I was just having a look at the time to the leader because Jeremy Clarkson, if he wanted to pit right now, he'd come out of the back of the field. He'd have a lot of work to do if he was to pit now for a fresh set of boots, but I feel like it won't be far off. And he's going to need a new set of boots, is the Haas. I mean, he's sticking with Ruddo for now, but it won't be long, and those mediums are going to be shouting at him to be changed. I mean, ARL now down to 5.6 seconds against War Islander. He took more by half a second out of that Alpine last time around.
Yeah, it is thingy, but I think Denmark might see a possible move, but just before the thingy, as Ginger and Jai could just go to the left and he just allowed Denmark to go through, but will Ginger try and look for move? He does. Makes no contact, just go a little bit slower and allows Denmark to go a little bit ahead. It's nice, clean racing, no contact. That we'd love to see for these two drivers. Denmark does have a bit of, here it goes sideways into the next corner. That is a bit of thing. We'll lose time. Ginger will try and make even more time, but yeah, see if we can do the switcheroo on the next lap again.
Yeah, they're having a good battle as War Islander pulls the pin. He's had enough of this set of mediums. What tyres does he have? Surely it's another set of mediums. 6 laps to go. It's a set of red marked soft tyres. And
I don't think they'll go. Yeah, I don't think they'll go to the end, man.
They're not going to be nice at the end of this race, the soft tyres. I'm surprised at this from Warner, unless... I don't think he used the mediums in qualifying, did he?
No, I don't think he did. I think it was it Madman and someone else? I think was it ARL?
ARL did, and I think maybe Ginger Tiger or Nitro did.
Yeah, because I know it was. I know it was definitely ARL because you mentioned that he switched from PlayStation to PC, so he wanted to try and get his setup correctly. But yeah, I mean, he didn't use the medium, so he could have used an extra set. But maybe he used 2 extra sets already in the race, so that could have been what has caused him to pull the soft. But maybe he's also trying to go for the fastest lap as well.
Could well be. I mean, as long as if he gets fast lap, as long as he finishes, he gets that point, or at least finishes within 90% race distance of this race, which would be roughly about 26 laps completed.
Jeremy Clarkson, I think, is also going into the pit, so he could go onto the soft compound tyre as well.
Looking at the pits, it's a yellow marked medium tyre, which is what I expect. That's what I expect from a late pit stop, even 5 laps to go. Because now Jeremy Clarkson can really push and use that tyre. But, as we've said before, he's now back at the back of this pack, and he's only got 6 laps, including this one, to actually make this time back. He's going to have an absolute stonker of a drive back through, or, as we saw in Belgium, punctures did come into effect in the intermediate tyre runners at the end of the Belgian Grand Prix. My word, you see the grip he's got going through there against the likes of Nitrogash.
As just doesn't make a little bit of contact, but it just shows that he has got a lot of grip, so he will make these moves a bit quicker. He will also have DRS against Matty as well, so he'll make a move quickly. But it's that time between him in the lead and the couple of leaders ahead that's really going to hurt him.
He's got 27 seconds to Beyond the Burr. As Matty practically nearly lets through Nitrogash accidentally. Yeah, right. So let's see what the gap is at the end of this lap, and 5 laps to go. I mean, he's going to have to be 5 seconds a lap faster than Beyond the Burr.
Which is not impossible, but for someone like Bjorn, it might not. But with him being on 13 old hard compound tires, it's not unforgiving. So he could do it. But let's see what his is towards the end.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting. I think Jeremy Clarkson's aim here is going to probably end up being Ruddo. 17 up the road, I think that's more sort of 4 seconds a lap still. That's still pretty tough as Winder gets past the McLaren and Williams of Matty and Nitrogash. So Winder looking to make up moves, but again, remember, they do have penalties. So even though Jeremy Clarkson is, say, 26 behind Beyond the Burr right now, he's technically 29.
Yeah, so even if he does catch Ruddo, it makes the move. If he doesn't get that time penalty removed, as he does now go ahead of Ginger Tiger, Jeremy Clarkson. But Ginger might be looking to fight further back. No, he just keeps it nice and clean. Battery rides, Jeremy Clarkson's thinking, I don't think he has DRS to Denmark, though.
No, I think it looks like him and Ginger actually took the detection point at the same time, because neither of them picked up DRS, which would be to great frustration of Jeremy Clarkson, because that would have been very useful in this fight. But to be honest, his time, that time to Beyond the Burr, isn't really coming down, as Jeremy Clarkson now gets past Denmark, but Jeremy Clarkson's still 25.7 away from Bjorn, and he's still sort of 17 behind Ruddo, so this is getting really difficult. I mean, is it potentially that Jeremy Clarkson is best look really right now is 4th place against ARL, who's just up the road?
It could be possibly, and if he does get that time penalty removed, he might have to just take 4 at the end of the race. So for qualifying, he has improved his overall time and his position, but he's not improved a lot much. But I think that time penalty has really cost him at this race.
I don't think it's a time penalty. I think the safety car is what has ruined this strategy for Jeremy Clarkson, because he had to pit. He couldn't not pit under that safety car with everyone, even though he was on the hards. You have to take that free pit stop regardless of what happens, and it's what's really sort of killed this race for him, because everyone else was able to go onto the hard compound tyre, and they now look like they're going to go to the end of this race without issue. Whereas Jeremy Clarkson, as I said before, that one pit stop, it cost you sort of 25 seconds-ish, I think, around here, something like that. That's what's really done it for the Haas driver, which is a shame, but that's the gamble you take starting on the hard tyres, because as Matty picks up 3 seconds, it's the gamble you take starting on the hard tyres. It's a good strategy if you don't get that early safety car.
Yeah, it was a gamble to go on the hard. It's also with Warland. He's now on source of deck. That's how Jeremy Clarkson does go quicker. It's the fastest lap. So he really is pushing, and he's got to push a lot more further. He's only got 2 laps to try and catch ARL, but then possibly also try and get further ahead of him by 3 seconds as well.
Yeah, he was 2.1 faster than ARL last time around. He's about All by the shouting, 2.5 seconds behind ARL right now, so he might get onto the back of ARL this lap, and then he'll have probably 2 laps to get past him and get a 3.001 up the road. However, the front 3 look pretty set in their ways at the moment. Looks like nothing's going to change. Bjorn leading the way from Sydney, Ruddo in 3rd. ARL is where the fight's going to start to happen, because the man in 4th, first drive, his rookie drive on a PC, and I mean, not that ARL has been slow at any point on the PlayStation, but he looks really comfortable. He looks like he's got a little bit more confidence and pace since the switch, as we've got a 3-way fight going on between the 2 Alpines and Ginger Tiger for 6th place. War Islander finally gets to the head of the group, but those tyres, I think they're going to be minced, to be honest, at this point. Those softs, they're not going to be pretty. And he's still got to get 3 seconds ahead of the pair of them to keep that 6th place.
Yeah, it will. As he does have one more, I think one more. Sorry, no, not one more lap. He will have another 2 more laps to go to try and get that 3 seconds to go even further ahead. As Jeremy Clarkson is now getting even more closer to ARL. So he possibly now, if he stays within that 1 second, which I'm almost thinking he will, that he will get DRS on that back straight. So he's going to try and conserve as much battery as possible, try and make no mistakes into the S's, which he doesn't really as much. He's going to try to get even closer, save much battery, and wait until that DRS and dump it to try and get past and try and think it was, ARL just run a little bit wide out of the wide lines. That will really help him.
Down into the hairpin. I think there's no question about Jeremy Clarkson getting past ARL here. But the question becomes, how much faster can he be in the next lap and a half? Here comes the Haas. ARL will defend this, but Jeremy Clarkson goes flying down the inside. Has he made the corner? No, he's not. That is very good from ARL. He looked to the left, went back to the racing line, which he's allowed to do because he was clear of Jeremy Clarkson. Jeremy Clarkson then sent one down the inside, got the braking all wrong. And this is playing right into the favour of ARL, because as long as he can stay within 3 seconds of Jeremy Clarkson, he's going to keep this 4th place. That's very smart defending from ARL. Let Jeremy make that mistake, trying to make sure he gets past. Coming onto the main straight, Jeremy Clarkson again will have the opportunity to get past him into turn 1. But if ARL can just stick, even if Jeremy Clarkson gets past, if ARL can just stick with him, Clarkson can get past. This is big for ARL. I think at this point, ARL quids in for 4th place with the penalty applied to Jeremy.
100%. If he didn't make that mistake, Jeremy, and ARL didn't do that really good defending, I think maybe Jeremy Clarkson might be able to make up the field. Maybe not get up to 3 seconds that he would have liked, but he would have been ahead at this current stage. But yeah, this is amazing defending by ARL, and just keeping Jeremy Clarkson behind as he just goes to the right at the back of ARL. A yellow flag further back.
War Islander. Something's happened to War Islander. I'm not quite sure. Focusing on this battle for 4th. As Jeremy Clarkson now pulls alongside, now gets ahead with DRS. But all ARL has to do is just stick with him. Meanwhile, at the front, coming round the final couple of corners, we haven't seen much of him lately because he's been in the lead. He's been in the lead by a bit of a way. Bjorn de Boer, he might not have been quickest in qualifying, but he's certainly quicker in the race. Bjorn de Boer wins the American Grand Prix from Sydney in 2nd, who will keep that regardless of his penalty. The Ferrari, the Scuderia, will pick up yet another double podium for their championship. They are going to run away with this constructors. Ruddo takes 3rd on the podium. I think possibly a 2nd or 3rd time this season in 3rd. Jeremy Clarkson, he's going to finish on the road in 4th. But ARL, what a drive from the RB driver. 4th place for him on his PC debut. He is going to be thrilled with that one. Jeremy Clarkson will finish 5th. Denmark will cross the line in 6th place. Ginger Tiger 7th. War Islander is in 8th, but will become 7th because of the T2 drivers. Nigel Gash 9th. Matty 10th, but that will become 8th in the results. What a mad finish to that race for the midfield. Lots of battles galore, Maris, and that's great to see as we load things in. We'll quickly go through the results. There is 2 Dutchmen and an Englishman on the podium, and 2 red suits, which is a rarity these days in F1. And what's even more of a rarity is a green suit on the top of the podium, let alone even on the podium after Hulkenberg's Silverstone win last year. We head to the results screen. Driver of the day goes to Denmark. Clean driver goes to Ginger Tiger. She's quite impressive. Good stuff from Ginger. But your provisional race results: Bjorn Burr takes the win from Sydney. Ruddo 3rd, ARL 4th, Jeremy Clarkson 5th, Denmark 6th, Ginger Tiger 7th. The War Islander is in 8th, Nitrogash 9th, Matty 10th, Madman and Yellow Geeson unfortunately retiring from tonight's race. But Maris, that was a nice bit of midfield and chaos near the end.
Yeah, it was, and I think the safety car kind of helped with that, as the tyres were really, really, they were just degraded. They had grip, but they didn't have as lot of grip compared to, for instance, Jeremy Clarkson. He managed to capitalise on that, go on to a fresh set of mediums, and managed to make up the positions from the back and try to push for that fight with ARL. He didn't manage to get it on. He managed to overtake on the track. But for the provisional results right now, he managed to still stay behind at ARL. So I think with the safety car, it really, really, really did hinder for those other drivers. But it really did come into key here for strategy wise.
Yeah, absolutely. ARL saying the safety car time was unlucky. They managed to recover. Yeah, it was very unlucky for some drivers, obviously Roddo being one of those people. Great recovery from ARL, and he just looked so comfortable tonight, even with the change of platform.
Yeah, he did, and he even showed us that really great defending against Jeremy Clarkson. So I think if he manages to continue this up, he could be a very consistent driver. That could be possibly if he manages to maybe find a little bit more extra time, and if he's on the right circuit, might be able to fight for some podiums.
Absolutely, and the one thing that's going to be certain is Sydney will come out of this as the championship leader still. There's no doubt about it, and Ferrari continuing their charge in the constructors. But for now, that's all we have time for Tier 1. Hopefully you've enjoyed the race. It's been a great race around COTA. If you did, please do like to the Invictus Racing League YouTube channel and put your notifications on. So as we say, every race is live streamed and commentated on for your pleasure to come and laugh at what we say and watch some brilliant racing in the process. It's always good to see everyone commenting during the race. Next week, round number 6. Do some very simple maths for a very long time. We head to a very interesting circuit, Losail and the Qatar Grand Prix. That's a really fun. Well, I've not driven it yet, but from what I've seen, it's a very, very fun track to drive. Going to make things very interesting in this championship as we head into the Middle East before heading to Baku for a sprint evening and Silverstone as the finale. Hopefully, we get a last race championship fight in this tier. I think that's the way we're hopefully going to see it go. But hopefully, we do get that towards the end of the season. But for now, Tier 1 is done, but make sure you join ARL and Bjorn, both drivers tonight, as they take us through Tier 2 tomorrow. They commentate on Tier 2 tomorrow from 8 o'clock, same time as tonight. Hopefully you join them tomorrow for Tier 2 action. Always great action in Tier 2. So make sure you join them tomorrow. But for now, from myself and Maris, any last words before we go?
Just to wish any people that are still watching and listening to us, hope you have the rest of your good night, and please to stay tuned for Tier 2 racing tomorrow.
Very well said. Well, thank you all for watching tonight. Join us tomorrow from Tier 2 action. Join us next week for round number 6 at Qatar. For now, thank you all for watching. Good night.